and sneak into the top 25. Maryland, put a beat down on them so they fall back out of there.
Talk about that.
All those charge-taking jabronis. Sorry, go ahead.
Welcome back to the show. Yahoo senior NBA writer Vincent Goodwill joins us. Thanks for being with us.
Hey, it's glad to be here.
All right, let's talk about yesterday's big news. Vince, we'll start with this. The Knicks traded fourth-year star Kristaps Porzingis to the Mavs in exchange for Dennis Smith Jr. and 2 future first-round picks. Porzingis has not played a game this season while recovering from an ACL injury. He had reportedly complained about the direction of the franchise and was subsequently sent out of town. All right, Vince, let's start with you. What was your reaction when you first heard about the trade?
Well, I take umbrage with you saying he's a fourth-year star because I don't know if he's proven anything yet to be called a star. Like Nick ran down the list earlier of the guys that you would take before him, and he hasn't played the games. He hasn't had the effect on winning. To me, stars have to have an effect on winning. The Knicks, I saw it as a positive move for them because, look, they're going after free agents this summer. They don't need to have a guy who's not part of the plan when you're trying to recruit guys and there's a guy saying, you know what, this isn't the place for you. They're trying to remake their reputation. Scott Perry is fighting against 20 years of ineptitude, James Dolan, Phil Jackson, all these other things that have happened to this franchise, and he's the master recruiter. He's the guy that's going to walk into meetings with Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving and say, hey, join me. So that's the type of thing that you need. You don't need a guy like Porzingis who's been there, who's dealt with him for a couple years, and is still reeling from the stink of the Phil Jackson era.
And who doesn't want to be there?
And doesn't, like, literally, if you don't want to be in New York of all places as an NBA basketball player, then you need to go. And I think the Knicks have basically been dealing with this for the past 2 or 3 months. They waited, they got the okay. It was really a quiet move. You didn't see it coming, but they had been preparing for this for the past few weeks. And once they got the okay that this guy doesn't want to be here, and we're not going to give a max contract to a guy that does not want to be part of this program, I saw it as a positive thing, not a negative.
So, Vincent, listen, I have another day job. I'm on the airwaves in New York City, and a lot of Knicks fans expressed outrage when they heard that Kristaps Porzingis was being dealt for what amounts to cap space. I mean, I know they get back Dennis Smith Jr. in the deal, DeAndre Jordan, Wesley Matthews, but those are expiring contracts, and it's really all about being able to create cap space for 2 max players this summer. How important is it to be able to have cap space for 2 guys as opposed to 1? Because I feel like when we're talking about Kevin Durant, we're automatically assuming because he gave KP the unicorn nickname that he wants to play with Kristaps Porzingis. But now the situation that the Knicks are in, it feels like KD is going to be offered the opportunity to choose his teammate. How important is that going into this summer?
Like, this is the way of the NBA now. Like, I know people begrudge the way that LeBron James is going about doing things in the new wave, but when you're offering a guy like Kevin Durant a chance to leave Golden State, where he's going to win basically his 3rd championship, maybe his 3rd straight finals MVP, you have to offer him more of an incentive besides just New York City. You have to say, we're going to put you in a place to contend as soon as possible in the Eastern Conference, whether that's Zion Williamson, RJ Barrett in the draft, along with another free agent. You have to offer him that chance because not only is Golden State going to give him all the trappings of playing with Stephen Curry and Klay Thompson and all that infrastructure, once again, you're the Knicks, you're fighting against your history. You need everything in your favor. Now, if Kyrie Irving does not come to New York, and I still think he is very much in play for the Knicks and any other team that will offer him a max contract this summer, let's say you don't get him. You at least have the cap space, Chris, to facilitate trades, to make moves with the other contracts and the other draft picks that you've acquired. Don't discount those 2 draft picks that the Knicks have gotten. That's sweetener for a trade if they can't get a second free agent, but you get a guy on an existing contract from this previous CBA where the contracts aren't going to be as heavy and as strong as the last couple of years.
And listen, you're talking about a second guy. It seems like you are where I'm at, which is I would now be surprised if Kevin Durant is not a Knick next year. Are you willing? Are you that far there yet?
I'm not that far yet, but I will say the possibility now is as strong as ever. Scott Perry drafted Kevin Durant. Scott Perry was an assistant GM in Seattle. He's kept a strong relationship with Kevin Durant and Kevin Durant's camp all through these years. So I would say you don't make a move like this unless you have a pretty good indication that you're at least going to be in the room. You're not going to get a guarantee. There's no way you can get a guarantee. But if you're the Knicks, all you want to do is be in the room. You could barely get in the room with LeBron James in 2010. You could barely get in the room with any free agent of note GOAT of the past decade. I think they have a greater chance, not a guarantee, but a greater chance now than they have had in the past, you know, two or three free agent cycles.
And I would argue this is the best position the franchise has been in my lifetime as far as they don't have bad contract anymore.
No.
The Knicks invented the bad contract. The league invented a rule called the Allen Houston rule to let the Knicks get rid of bad contract, and the Knicks used their Allen Houston exemption on a player not named Allen Houston. They gave Jerome James a bad contract. They gave
Tim Hardaway Jr.
Everybody, right? So
Eddie Curry.
So now we could go down the list. So now they have the ability to offer Kevin Durant not just a max deal, but they can offer him his own team. And by that I mean, not only are you the guy, but you can this summer play GM as well. If you have a relationship with Kyrie Irving, if you have a relationship with Jimmy Butler, if you have a relationship with Kimball Walker, you can tell us the other guy you want, and if he wants to come with you, they don't have to, there's no other pieces they got to move. They don't have to trade future picks. They don't have to take on a bad contract. It's all done. And that doesn't even mention the Zion lottery ticket. And if the Zion lottery ticket, it's only a 14% chance. But it's not like he's the only player in the draft. John Morant's a good player. RJ Barrett, Cam Reddish. Like, they're going to get one of the top 5 players in the draft. And I would say there's one amazing player in Zion and 3 other potentially really good players. So I love this for the Knicks. I am concerned on the Mavericks side because I get why you want to get the upside of Kristaps. But what you're getting with Kristaps is a player who's 7'3", and the list of 7'3" guys who've gone through their career without major injury history is Mark Eaton, and that's it. Everyone else that tall has had major injuries repeatedly or recurring injuries. And you have none of the flexibility you're talking about of the ability to acquire players via trade by throwing in draft picks.
They don't have any.
They have none now. And so what you have, I believe Luka, if I was making when we were talking NFL this year, I said Patrick Mahomes would be, if the league disbanded, he's the most valuable piece in football. That if you were starting a franchise. To me, Luka has made himself number 2. Giannis, if the NBA disbanded, and the first pick would be Giannis, but given age, given trajectory, the Mavs have the second most valuable piece in the league right now. And to lock themselves in to this is what our team's going to be, because they're going to have to give Kristaps $150 million. I get why you're taking a big swing, but you might only need it a single. When you've got Luka, you don't need to take these big swings. They did it. We'll see how it works out, but I agree with these guys. For the Knicks, this is a great day, and a better day is going to come on July 1st when Kevin Durant says he's coming to New York.
All right, let's take a quick break. Vincent, we'll see you a little bit later on in the show. Coming up, 2-time Super Bowl champ Chris Long joins us from Atlanta. That's next on First Things First.
It's my guy. Wahoo-wah. Another Virginia guy. Love it.
You win Knicks colors today.
That's what I said.
UVA
Syracuse.